All right, second to last matchup, just that quick. I told you guys, man, it's only 4 games, man, in the Elite Eight, like Kyle said. So, every game is obviously a monumental, and there's only so many big games left. So, this would be a Sunday matchup, and this is another rematch here. Speaking of rematches, this is the LA Rams visiting, which is important, I think, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. The line here, we have Tampa Bay as a short favorite at home. They are 3-point favorites. 48 is the over-under. This game is on Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And this is obviously the NFC Divisional game in the Divisional round. Some trends here. Tampa Bay in their last 12 home games, they've won 11 of them, people. Very hard to beat at home. We saw that shellacking of the Eagles. Sorry, Hicks, last week. So, I mean, they're tough at home. We're talking about the Bucs here. LA in their last 5 games on the road against Tampa Bay, however, they have covered the number 5 times. And remember, this is only a 3-point spread here. So if the LA Rams, that trend continues, they cover the number. Some could argue that they're going to win the games. They cover that number of 3. And the total has gone over in 5 of the last 5 games when these two teams play each other. Just think about that. All right, so with that being said, let's do it, fellas. Divisional round, NFC. Rams versus Tampa Bay. Let's pick the winner.
Hey, yeah, man, this is going to be a fantastic game. I've been on the Matt Stafford train all year long. I mean, the man's a video game. I mean, the numbers that he was putting up in Detroit, that just shows right there, that as much as he didn't make the playoffs one time, or at least didn't get a playoff win, he was still balling out, in somewhere like Detroit. So when he's in LA, he's got weapons. They've been a little, I guess you could say, inconsistent, but I think overall they've been playing great ball. Have a great coaching staff. Have a great quarterback. Have a great roster. They're not Tom Brady. I mean, as much as I do think the Rams can win this game, I'm going to pick the Bucs. I have learned my lessons from picking against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Saying that's probably going to change next week because I still think the Packers will win. But saying that, I'm going to pick the Bucs for this game, just specifically because, again, I don't want to bet against Tom Brady for something like this. But I think the Rams are a great team. I think it'll be a great game. And honestly, I would not be surprised if Bucs win, but the Rams cover 3.5 points. I think it's a 1-2 point game.
Nice. Man, it's hard to bet against Tommy Boy, and I'm a Tommy fan. And but I think the Rams are going to take this game, and I think that because their defensive pressure, like they got 4 dudes who have, been led the NFL in sacks before them there, so they're just going to be able to bring a lot of pressure. They between Von Miller, Fowler, Clowney, Aaron Donald, it's just too much. Then Jalen Ramsey hits like a linebacker. It's too much, and that's the way you beat Tom Brady. Matter of fact, I think they're kind of built to beat Tom Brady. I think this team is built to beat the great quarterback. So I'm gonna go Rams.
All right, so yeah, I like it, man. It is scary going against Tommy Boy, Benjamin Buttons, as I like to call him. So Hicks, you're going with the Rams. Kyle, you are going with Tampa Bay, correct?
Sir.
Okay, good. Now I vowed that I was going to stop saying but again, I mean, this is one take for us. We record and we shoot it out. It's the way it's going. So you're going to hear a couple from me. With that being said, I'm going to go with, let me hold this off, okay? We got 15 more minutes, so I can spend about 5, we can spend about 2 or 3 minutes finishing this up. How do the Rams win? I think Hicks mentioned it. They beat up Tom Brady. They get after him. They force the ball out of his hands quickly, and they rally and tackle quickly, which they have the athletes to do. How does Tampa Bay win? I think playoff Lenny, who's Leonard Fournette, I think he's back in this matchup. I think he could have came back last week if they needed him against the Eagles, but sorry, Hicks. I guess they figured they didn't need him against the Eagles. They needed him in this matchup potentially. Now we're here. So if playoff Lenny is back for Tampa Bay, that gives them a nice little touch in the running game. Mike Evans had a nice game last week, so I think he's back. Gronk had a really good game last week. And with those two guys, you don't have Antonio Brown, you don't have Chris Godwin out with the ACL. But they have enough firepower, especially with Tom Brady. Think about the guys he had in New England, right? Yeah, he had Gronk, and Gronk is obviously here in this matchup. But other than that, I mean, you kind of had, I don't want to say pedestrian, but you had, your prototypical New England receivers. Not guys that would no one's going to pick as a number one pick in the draft, but they got guys that are just serviceable. Maybe a little above serviceable if you talk about Julian Edelman and guys like that. But, good players that I think with Tampa Bay, they got a couple of Perryman. I know he's there with them. They got another cat, I think they drafted from Minnesota a few years ago. I think he's with them. Maybe Robert Johnson. I think that's his name. It's escaping me, but they have enough talent, Tampa Bay, to do what they need to do with a quarterback like Tom Brady, because you don't need too much. So how do the Tampa Bay Bucks win? I think they control the game. They have more of a 50-50 run pass type of deal. They're not dropping back every play because they don't want Aaron Donald and those guys that try to get after Tom Brady. They're able to mix in some screens. They're able to run the ball efficiently, do all those things. Don't turn the ball over. Do all those things that you typically ask for to win a national football game. And I think if it comes down to the end, I'm thinking this is a close game because, again, Tampa Bay is only a 3-point favorite at home. If it's a close fourth quarter game, who makes that last play? Are we talking about Matt Stafford, former Detroit quarterback that just won his first playoff game in his entire career, a career of about 12, 13 years? It's the first one he's won just last week. Are we talking about Tom Brady, 7 Super Bowl rings, has more playoff wins, almost double than all these teams combined? Think about that. And he's actually older than some of the coaches that he's facing. I think every coach in the divisional rounds besides probably Andy Reid and probably one other, but especially in the NFC, I mean, he's older than those guys. He's older than Sean McVay. He's older than Shanahan. So you looking, I mean, he is a veteran. Goes without saying what he can do in the type of pedigree he has. All that said, look, fellas, I think it's going to be a close game. And if it's a fourth quarter game, I'm not going with a quarterback that has won one playoff game in the last decade and a half. I'm not. But who I am rolling with, I'm rolling with Benjamin Buttons. I'm rolling with the cat I can trust on, and I can roll with. Don't matter who he got lining up with him. Don't matter receivers, running back. It don't matter. Tom Brady's gonna get it done because that's what he does, and that's what he's built to do, and that's why he is the GOAT. So with being the GOAT, I'm gonna ride the GOAT. I'm gonna go with Benjamin Buttons at home. And again, in their last 12 home games, Tampa Bay, they do not lose. They've only lost one home game in the last 12 home games. So I know the Rams beat them earlier this year. That was in LA. It's a little bit different down in Florida with the elements, right? Just being outside, something a little different. Matt Stafford's used to the bowl. He's used to the dome. That's what he's used to. So I'm gonna chalk it up here, man. I'm gonna say I'm going with the 7-time Super Bowl winner. Again, Benjamin Buttons. I'm riding it out, man. Old man Brady. Let's do our thing, man.